Aloha and welcome to General Biology here at Chaminade University. You've signed up for the FLEX program, so I'd like to take you a moment to walk you through what you're going to need to be able to be successful in this course. So, first of all, you probably have already logged into Canvas because you're watching this video, so this is what your Canvas shell is going to look like. Your FLEX Biology Canvas shell is going to have a home page, and on that home page you're going to be able to find a syllabus, as well as all of the modules, which you can also access here by linking there. So I've gone ahead and downloaded that syllabus already just for the sake of time. And here's what this looks like. So it depends on which type of flex course you are set up for, either the 10 weeks or a 4-month flex course. And one of the first things you'll need to do is give me a course completion schedule so I have an idea of when you intend to complete this course. Here are my email addresses right here and my phone number if you need to text or give me a call at any point. I also have office hours, but since we're online, we'll probably be doing Zoom appointments. So just go ahead and shoot me an email or a text message for that. All right, you're going to be taking 101 and 101 lab concurrently, so hopefully you're registered for both. If you're not, you're going to want to try to make sure you're registered for the lab as well because the concurrent registration for the Biology 101 lab is required. And by the end of this class, we're going to be talking about, you're going to be able to understand and talk to me about the characteristics of living organisms. What is it that required to become alive, right? So what are the characteristics of life? We'll talk about growth and development, and we'll give you some critical scientific skills that will help you with scientific investigations. We'll talk about the scientific method. We'll talk about hypothesizing things and then how we're going to run experiments to try to discern whether or not that hypothesis is correct. We'll talk about all of the different structures within the cell, the prokaryotic and the eukaryotic cell. And we'll talk about all the different cellular components and how they are utilized within the cell to provide the cell function and structure. And by the end of this, you'll be able to have a cohesive idea of what it means to be alive, right? There is an optional textbook. You do not need to purchase it, but if you'd like to, you can use this. Most students find that they're able to meet the requirements for the class just by utilizing the PowerPoints and the video lectures, which are provided to you on Canvas. We have 2 exams, a midterm exam and a final exam. They're both worth 100 points. And then we have 7 quizzes, which are also going to be worth 100 points. We also are going to have a couple postings to the Community of Practice, which is the Facebook page available to you. And that's going to be worth 10 points, a total of 310 points. Sorry about that. Math is hard. Just kidding. Here's your letter grading. So we're going to basically be on the 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 is a B, etc. Late work policy doesn't really apply to you guys because it's a flex model. So as long as everything is finished by the firm deadline that you guys have set for yourselves on your course completion schedule, then you can make sure and do it whenever you want, including up until 11:59 p.m. on that last day. You will only be offered a grade of incomplete if you've completed 50% or more of the class assignments, and there's something extenuating that are circumstances that were kind of beyond your control. So you'd have to reach out to me and let me know. You only have about 30 days for that incomplete to be changed, so that's only going to give you an extension of about 25 days. All right. Please reach out to me via email if you need to. Let's see. I think all the rest of this is pretty standard. So this is going to be the course outline, what we're going to be going over. So the first units are just going to be syllabus and course overview. The second unit is going to be for PowerPoints 1 and 2, so Introduction to Life on Earth and Atoms, Molecules, and Life. Then after that, you'll have a quiz you complete on Units 1 and 2. Then we'll do Units 3 and 4, which will also have another quiz, which will be Quiz 2. And then we'll have a third quiz, which is Units 5 and 6, before we have our midterm exam. So the midterm exam is going to be Units 1 through 6, and then we'll have Units 7 through 14 for the final exam. So it's going to be kind of an overview of how we're going to work through. Obviously, I'm not going to give you specific deadlines or due dates because of the flex policy, but this is going to be the overview of what we're going to look at. Okay, so let's flip back to this here, and let's head over to, so now we're in the Canvas shell, and we'll head over to the module section. In the module section, you're going to get to see each of the modules going through. So the overview and to-do list for module 2, for example, would be to listen to my 2 lectures and take the quiz, and then you can move on to module 3, which would be units 3 and 4, and then a quiz. We'll do 5 and 6, and then a quiz, and then we'll have the midterm exam for module 5. So at this point, we'll be quizzing you on units 1 through 6. Now, you will see very similar questions on the exam to the ones that you see in the quiz. They will not be identical, but they will be similar enough, so you'll have a feel for how well you're going to do on the exam by how well you've done on the quizzes. So if you bomb a quiz, you really want to go back and make sure that you cover the material because you're going to see similar material on the exams. Okay, so again, you can find all of your work through the modules. You'll work through each module individually, so you won't be able to get to the next module until you finish the previous one. And then when you get all the way to the end, you'll fill out a course evaluation survey, which will let me know that it's time for me to go back and give you your final grade. Okay, so that is how the class is set up. So I'm going to switch over now to the laboratory section. And again, the first thing you're going to want to go to is home. And then if you scroll down home, you're going to go to course syllabus, which I downloaded in advance. So we'll come back over here. You're going to see a lot of the same stuff that I already showed you, like my name and where my office is, and the fact that you're either going to have 10 weeks or 4 months to complete it. And the outcomes for the lab are going to be very similar to the class, except they're going to be more hands-on, so more analytical. So we're going to be talking about critical thinking of scientific investigations, basically talking about the scientific hypothesis, how you might design experiments. We'll go through experiments and we'll talk about things like variables, etc. But you're going to be learning about similar concepts: cells, their macromolecules, the organelles within them, how cells combine to make tissues, how tissues come together to make organs, etc. And so overall, we're going to focus on this. Demonstrate the understanding of biological concepts that underlie the physical basis of life. Okay. You do have a required text for this lab because the laboratory is actually going to be online through a secondary site, which I'll take you to a second, and that is going to be Top Hat. Here's your course join code 709482. You're going to need to utilize this to be able to sign in. And I'll pop over to Top Hat in just a second so you can see what those activities look like. But basically, you're going to be doing 10 lab activities on this alternate website, and you'll be going through each of them again at 10 points each. That'll give you 100 points. We'll have a communities of practice assignment where you have to post something to the Facebook page, and that'll give us a total of 110 points. Again, we'll divide the amount of points that you have by 110, and we'll give you a 90 to 100A, 80 to 89B, 70 to 79C, etc. You do need to complete all of your homework. So if it's a review, it's for you to read. If it's something that it will be graded, it will be labeled homework. And you'll also be able to access your gradebook in Top Hat, so you'll always know exactly how well you're doing. Again, with late work, I'm not going to be worried about late work because of the flex system. So as long as everything's in by 11:59 on the day that you say you're going to be completed, then we are all good to go. Let's see. I think without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead. Oh, here, let's talk about the units. Okay, so these are the 10 modules that you'll see in Top Hat. The first is going to be understanding the scientific method. So we'll talk about the different steps in the scientific method, right? Observation, question, hypothesis, testing, right, etc. So the experimental design. And then we'll talk about how cells work. So cell structure and function. We'll talk about all the different parts of the cell. We'll talk about bases, so acids and bases and pH. Then we'll talk about enzymes and cellular division and the difference between mitosis and meiosis. So this is regular cell division, like how the way skin cells reproduce, and this is going to be how sex cells are created, for example. Then we'll talk about DNA. We'll talk about Mendelian genetics, it's a springboard from that. Then evolution, which comes directly off of genetics because that's how we're going to be having selective change over time when the environment is inducing selective pressure on particular organisms for adaptation, for example. And then we'll talk about classification, which is just how we are able to wrap our head around all of the diversity of life on Earth. And by the end of this, then you're going to have to send me an email saying that you've completed all of your assignments so that I can head over and grade it. But don't worry, these are going to be auto-graded for you, so you'll have a really good feel of where you are. All right, so let's head over to Top Hat. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to see many courses on MyShell, but hopefully you'll only have a couple. You might have another one from another class as well. But once you get in there, you're going to click on the General Biology Laboratory, which again, here's your course code. So this is what you'll need to join my course. So you're going to go to tophat.com, you'll have to purchase access, and then you'll add this course code 709482, and that will bring you to the General Biology Laboratory. And I'm not going to walk you through each one of these labs, but I will walk you through the first couple so you have an idea of what's set up for you. So again, RV means review. You're not going to have any points associated with this material. So you can click on and read any of these. It means you have access to it, but none of these are anything that you're going to be graded on. Now, starting chapter 1, we're going to have homework, right? So homework is what you're actually going to be answering questions. Again, there's no due dates for any of these because these are all going to be worked through on your own time. And then when you're finished, you'll know you're finished because if you go over to the gradebook, which I can show you because none of you have signed up yet, once you're in the gradebook, it will show you all of the different, oh, it doesn't, here you go, content. So it'll show you all of the different grades for everything that you have completed. So I guess the gradebook doesn't show up until students are logged in, but so you'll be able to immediately access all of the grades that you have gotten throughout this semester. And then when you're finished, which you get through 1 through 10, once you're finished with 10, just shoot me an email and say, hey, I'm ready to be graded and I've finished the class and we are all set to go. All right, so that wraps up my little introduction. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to either email me or shoot me a text message. Otherwise, have a fabulous class, and it's really nice to meet you, and welcome to General Biology. Have a great day.